Welcome. It's Friday the 30th of April and we're about a week away from the Goodness Gravel event down in Mogo, which is south of Sydney. We rode the course a couple weeks ago and I thought I'd make this video just to share my experience with you, and if you're riding the event, this will give you a bit of an expectation of logistics and how the day may run for you, and that may help you for your prep. If you like surprises and you don't want to know much about the course and the ride itself and you want to save it all for the day, then don't watch this video, obviously. So we'll start nice and simple. How long is the drive from Sydney? Well, we drove from Sutherland, which is already in the south of Sydney, and it was about a 3.5 hour drive. We stopped for Macca's along the way down, so it was another half an hour. The drive is pretty easy when you're driving south. I mean, it's not like driving north. You don't have to get onto the Pacific Highway and go through all those sets of traffic lights through the northern suburbs just to get on, I think it's the M1 up there. So when you're driving south, you can tune out and it's really quite smooth and cruisy. The only part that I can foresee maybe some bottlenecks or some traffic jams is once you get closer to Bateman's Bay, the road narrows from a 2-lane highway to a single lane road. And when you get down that south, if there's a traffic jam, there's not much you can do about it. Where did we stay? We stayed in South Duras, which is about a 30-minute drive to Mogo. 30 minutes is a pretty reasonable amount of time to drive to an event. So I'd recommend staying there if you are doing the event. However, it would be more convenient to stay in Bateman's Bay because it'd probably only be about 10-15 minutes to get to Mogo on the day of the event. Does Mogo have food, drink, and coffee? Yes, and more yes. After the ride, there was a plethora of bakeries, fudge shops, and just food options in general. It's quite a quaint small town that's really nice. It's got that country vibe just to when you're walking through. We had a pie and a pastry at one of the local bakeries and it was next level. Like it had that buttery pastry and like that home cooked feel. It was good. So I don't think there's going to be any shortage of food options after the ride or even coffee options before the ride. The part of the video that you've probably been waiting for, the course itself. What was it like? What can you expect? Well, I'll do my best. My memory is a bit hazy, but I think I can run you through it. So the first 15 Ks, it was just straight climbing and the road was rough. I just remember all my power being sucked out beneath me and just trying to just hold Jonathan's wheel. But you know, this is gravel. It's on trend right now. So we're like, woo, this is gravel, full send. This is so good. Because yeah, the adrenaline's there. You're not noticing all the bumps. You're just kind of, let's go with it. After this 15K climb, it's great because there's a 10K descent all the way to Runniford. Runniford has this beautiful bridge. I remember it was just these beautiful blue skies. Hopefully it's clear weather on the day. I stopped for a photo and I remember having to chase the guys afterwards, but that's a really picturesque bridge crossing. From Runniford to Nelligan, it's just sort of this undulating gravel. I know it's not too smooth because I would have remembered if it was that dream grav that comes a bit later on in the ride. But yeah, there's undulations all the way to Nelligan, and that's at the 40K mark. By the way, this is for the 130K course. From the 40K mark to 75, again, it all sort of just molds together in my mind. It's just undulation after undulation, plenty of climbs, plenty of pretty bumpy gravel. So, but at this point, you're still pretty fresh. You're only a couple of hours in, so you're still running off that adrenaline. And at the 75K mark, you've crossed the Clyde River. There's a bit of a river crossing, and that's pretty all time. Really beautiful, and it really breaks up the ride because it's just like you've been riding on these fire trails the whole time, and then just see flowing water in all its beauty it's a magical thing. Anyway, at the 75K mark, it just gets real good. You get to follow the Clyde River for about 30 Ks. And this is that dream gravel. This is what you see in pictures, magazines, websites, whatever socials you're on these days that promote grav. It's smooth, it's winding, it's picturesque. This was the highlight of the ride for me, and honestly the best part. If you're having a rough day, this will make it better. This is the crux. Okay, I think I've talked it up enough. Let's move on. So from 75 Ks to about probably 90, 100 Ks, we're back in Nelligan. And because at this point you're probably like 4 hours into the ride, or 3.5 at least, or something of that nature, the rough gravel begins again from Nelligan back to Mogo. And this really takes it out of you. The adrenaline's worn off. You can feel all the bumps at this point, and there's some climbs coming up, some pretty big climbs actually. In the last 20 Ks, there's this really massive climb for about 6 Ks, and it really empties the tank. And as I said, for like the 16th time, the road does not feel smooth. If you're used to riding a road bike, this is not smooth at all. So you can really start to feel it in your back, probably in your wrists as well. It's probably a good idea to wear some gloves or get some thicker bar tape to really absorb some of these bumps, because they really take it out of you. Maybe do some core exercises, hold some planks or something to keep your core and your back in check for when these bumps begin. And I remember there's this really rough section called Egan's something or other. It's about 5 Ks long, but the real rough stuff lasts for about 2 Ks. And it is honestly like shale rock that you're riding over, and it's pretty bumpy. A mountain bike would be the dream riding across this stuff, but no, we're on gravel bikes. So how rough was it? Well, I had some pretty serious rim strikes. Actually, they weren't serious, but my rim struck the shale rocks a fair few times. I was traveling that quick. So if you're a larger rider, you're a bit heavier, maybe you want to ride at a bit more pressure just for this point, because if you get a pinch flat or you crack a rim or something, it's going to be a pretty long walk back to Mogo, about 10 Ks in fact. So anyway, once that rough section's done and dusted, you're on the home straight. You got 10 Ks left. You can smell the bakeries, and on the day we didn't stop for any water or anything, and there wasn't really any water stops. The only place you could stop was really like Runniford, which is like 15, 16 Ks, probably no, around 20 Ks back from Mogo. But well, I don't even know what I'm getting at anymore. I probably need to refilm this. Where was I? Yeah, anyway, we're at the rough stuff. You got 10 Ks left. You just got to get through it. And when you get back to Mogo, you have a pie, you recoup, you talk about the trials and tribulations of the day, and what do? You move on with your life. That's my recap. Hope you got something out of it. Shoot some questions and whatnot in the comments if you want to know any further information. But if you're riding it, it's going to be a great day, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you see me next week and you actually know who I am, say hi. If I'm not too weathered after the ride, I may say hi back. So catch you in the next one.